people have asked me, both on the internet and in real life, about my political stance, whether I am right-wing or left-wing, and today I kind of want to address that once and for all. I think the most simple answer is that I don't have any opinion on this kind of stuff, and the reason why I don't really have an opinion is because I don't feel like I am educated enough in this kind of subject. Let me explain. Like, for the last, I guess, year or so, or even more, I have watched a lot of political content creators that so happened to be right-wing, such as Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Brett Cooper, all those kinds of people. And because I have watched them so much, I thought for a while that the right was like the norm, and it kind of became an issue, but I haven't really watched the left that much, so I haven't really seen the other side of the coin. And I feel like the reason why I did not watch the left so much is because I used to do that, and I thought the leftists were like, that I watched at least, were cringe. Like, a lot of them were basically the bread tuber soy boys. I know this doesn't sound good, but back then when I watched this kind of stuff, I thought those like bread tuber soy boys were weak, that they were not masculine enough, they were too feminine, they were too cringe. And one of them, I'm not gonna name drop him, but he is quite popular in that like space. Like, I couldn't believe he managed to lose his virginity, which he had to do because he has like 2 biological children. And so I thought those people were cringe, so I stopped watching them. But I'm not sure what I would have thought of them today. Now when I have learned to not judge other people, because if you judge other people, you will be judged, you know. But because I then stopped watching left-wing content creators, I then became recommended only right-wing content creators onto my like recommended page. And because right-wing was the only side I got recommended, I thought for a while that it was like the normal popular opinion to have, until I realized that I got duped by the algorithm. I only watched whatever the internet algorithm was promoting to me, which was a problem, and it led to me creating videos that got a lot of backlash, and I deleted those videos. Now they are under my playlist on my channel if you are still curious, but I no longer really stand by the things I said there because I was misinformed. The things I said there were based off of what the algorithm has showed me. So I have seen a lot of like opinions of right-wing people, but I just haven't seen that many opinions of left-wing people. And I also don't really talk about this kind of stuff in real life, because I don't really think it's healthy to talk about this kind of stuff in real life. So basically all the information I get is from whatever the goddamn algorithm shows me. And so I feel like I haven't seen enough of like the left-wing side in order to draw a conclusion as to whether they are good or bad. I just haven't seen that much of like the other side of the story, and I just feel like I am not educated enough on this to have any strong opinions on this, or to at least have reliable opinions. I do think it's good to have strong opinions and to stand up for yourself, but if you are not educated enough, if you don't have enough information that can back up your opinions, then you will just embarrass yourself, which is what I did when I tried to stand up for my opinions, but they were not backed by proper information and proper knowledge. Now, I have seen and heard right-wing people talk about left-wing people. You typically see like Ben Shapiro and Brett Cooper and all those people show you like leftists, and those leftists are indeed embarrassing. Like you see those people who booed when Jerry Seinfeld appeared on a stadium, and you see stuff like this.
What is something weird about conservatives?
There is almost a cultish vibe. The way they operate within themselves, they refuse to listen to outside people. You know, they're refusing to learn, essentially. I think that is a large part of it.
See, I don't know what that is. I don't know what you would call that lack of self-awareness. Somebody commented and said, I choose my conservative cult over what that is. Yeah. Somebody said the irony. Literally, there's no self-awareness. I don't even know what to say.
And when you see this kind of stuff, I think it is easy to immediately assume that left-wing people are freaks, that they are crazy, that they have some kind of mental illness. And it becomes very easy to then become a right-wing supporter. But it is possible that there is some self-selective bias here, that not every left-wing person is as crazy as them, and it's possible that Brett Cooper and those kinds of people are just sample picking the worst and the most unhinged people imaginable, and then they are like, look, this is what the leftists are like. They are all like that, but they sample pick the worst people that should not represent everyone within that group, because it's possible that every side, every political side, every group of people will have some that are really unhinged, that are really crazy, really probably horrible people. But you need to take into account that just because you see some people within a certain group that behave in the most batshit crazy way imaginable, it doesn't mean that everyone within that group behaves the same. And so I am just not well educated enough on this matter. I don't know if every left-wing person is kind of like this, or if they are genuinely good left-wing people. I assume there are good left-wing people, and I also assume there are really crazy right-wing people, and that not every right-wing person is normal. But what are my opinions on like the things that those different political parties stand for? Like, for example, what do I think of LGBTQ? Like, personally, I think that as long as you are able to be a good person, as long as you are able to at least try your best to be a good person, and you live a happy and fulfilled life, then I don't really see a problem with being LGBTQ. I think the problem becomes once you demand society to treat you better because you are LGBTQ. And this is what a lot of people are, that get portrayed by like the right-wing people. The right-wing people will typically show you all those like entitled homosexual or transsexual people, and then they are like, look, homosexual, trans people, they are bad, they are all entitled. But it's self-selective bias, most likely. Like, those people are bad not because they are LGBTQ, but because they are entitled. And there are also straight people who are entitled. And I don't think everyone that is LGBTQ, for example, or a minority group behaves the same as those that get portrayed by the right wing. And I feel like people within a minority group, like LGBTQ or whatever, that behave in this entitled and crazy and unhinged way should not represent everyone within that group. However, I will stand up for my opinions whenever I think they are legit. For example, I don't like Trump. I don't like Donald Trump. Like, he just made English the official language in America. Part of the magic about the United States was always that there was no official language. Because America was supposed to be this kind of country, like this meeting point where all the cultures get to meet and exchange their cultures, and it was that kind of stuff. It was like the American dream, you know? It was the country of freedom. The cultures can do whatever they want, kind of. And so the fact that there was no official language and that every language was welcome was kind of part of the magic. And so when you actually make an official language in America, you kind of ruin the magic, I feel like, at least as a European. This is from the perspective of a European. But I feel like this contradicts Donald Trump's literal catchphrase to make America great again. You did not make America great again. You made it worse by adding an official language. America used to be great. It's not as great anymore. And I also want to briefly talk about Elon Musk, because I feel like whenever you talk about this kind of stuff, you will inevitably talk about Elon Musk. And I feel like people have some really extreme opinions of him. People really like to hate on him. And so I just want to give out my opinion on him, like once and for all. I think it's quite obvious that he is a troll. He is desperately trolling everyone. I know this not just from the decisions he makes, but the way he acts and goes about the decisions he makes. Like the tweets he makes on the internet. Like, it's so obvious that he is desperately trying to cause a reaction out of everyone. So, I don't think... I feel like when all those people hate on him that as much as they do, like they are just fueling him and they are giving him exactly what he wants. And also, he has a lot of power, so he is able to do this. Not only is he the richest man in the world, his net worth keeps growing exponentially. It's only a matter of time before he will literally have all the money in this world. So he has a lot of power. And so he is able to do basically whatever he wants. And he also surrounds himself, I can only assume, with a bunch of yes men, a bunch of people that enable all his questionable decisions. But I don't really care about his questionable decisions that much. I don't care that he is supposedly ruining Twitter, because I don't like Twitter. I think Twitter is a horrible echo chamber, and I think Twitter deserves to be ruined. And so if anything, I think Elon Musk is doing a good thing that he is ruining Twitter. So I don't really care about it that much. He also has a lot of children, like a dozen of them. He is the new Genghis Khan. He's literally Genghis Khan, but it is understandable that he does that because he has so much power. He is not necessarily a Giga Chad, he just has this much power.